On the evening of September 10, 2001, citizens of the United States went about their usual routines, unaware of the tragic events that would unfold the next day. The Twin Towers stood tall in the New York skyline, and families and friends spent time together, not knowing that their lives would soon change forever. It was a calm, ordinary night before the storm of history-making events. The following morning, on September 11, 2001, a normal day turned into a nightmare. The attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon shocked the world and changed lives forever. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center. As soon as the North Tower of the World Trade Center was attacked, many people initially thought it was an accident. The idea of a commercial airplane accidentally crashing into the building seemed plausible to witnesses and news reporters. As emergency responders quickly rushed to the scene, and news stations began live coverages showing the chaotic, tragic aftermath.
Hey, can you look out your window right now?
Yeah.
Can you see God about 4,000 feet, about 5 east of the airport right now? Looks like he's...
Yeah, I see him.
You see God? Look, is he descending through the building also?
He's descending really quick too, yeah.
Well, that's
2,500 feet now. He just chopped 800 feet in like one sweep.
that's another situation.
At least everyone thought it was an accident until the second tower was attacked.
That emergency vehicles are there, understandably so, but of course the major concern is human loss. I mean, do you know if there were many people in the building?
Oh, another one just hit. Something else just hit. A very large plane just flew directly over my building.
You have a second plane into the other tower.
Another one just hit the building.
Shortly after, a plane crashed into the North Tower. At 9:03 a.m., the South Tower was hit by another plane. And at this point, it was no doubt that the United States was under attack. At the time, a Broadway performer, Sarah Jane Nelson, was a witness and saw the first plane hit the North Tower. Quote, "The explosion was so loud it shook me. The city went silent, debris and paper fell like a parade." Quote. But not only were there just witnesses, there were victims who survived the 9/11 attacks. A victim, who is Bob Sarupski, was inside of the World Trade Center on the 6th floor when the attacks occurred. He said, quote, "It was the loudest bang I had ever heard. I'll never forget my first sight of what happened. Standing right near Tower 1 and looking up, I saw what appeared to be the outline of a plane right through the side of the building. At that point, I wasn't really sure what to do." But this wasn't the worst part. Shortly after the North Tower was hit, the Pentagon, the heart of the US Department of Defense, was also attacked at 9:37 a.m. when American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, causing a massive explosion and a partial collapse of the building. This was an attack that killed 125 people inside the Pentagon and all 64 people on the plane. The assault on the Pentagon highlighted the scale and coordination of the 9/11 attacks. Victim Marilyn Willis, who worked at the Pentagon at the time, survived the attack. She remembers, quote, "The explosion was so loud and the room went dark. The door handle was too hot to touch, so I had to crawl to another door to escape." In the fourth and final hijacked plane, United Airlines Flight 93 tragically crashed into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, resulting in the loss of all passengers, crew members, and terrorists on board. These coordinated strikes collectively claimed nearly 3,000 lives, making the deadliest foreign attack on American soil. United Airlines Flight 93 crashed because the passengers and crew members of the aircraft attempted to regain control from the hijackers. After receiving insight from family members or relatives on the attacks via phone calls, the passengers and crew decided to confront the terrorists. They tried to bum rush the cockpit, and the plane ultimately crashed into a field in the middle of Somerset County, Pennsylvania. The heroic action prevented the hijackers from reaching their intended target, which is believed to either be the White House or the US Capitol, saving countless lives. Post 9/11 attacks, many Americans saw them as random acts of terror. The shocking images of planes crashing into the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania left people in disbelief and fear, feeling like a senseless assault on innocent lives. However, research by Cara Reed from Ohio State University and Catherine Huskies from the Miller Center shows that these attacks were deeply rooted in long-standing tensions. The attackers were driven by conflicts involving the US and the Middle East, like the Iranian Revolution, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, and the Gulf War. These events stirred resentment and anger among extremists like Osama bin Laden, who saw the US as direct threats. Cara Reed explains that this animosity developed over years. Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda declared war on the US in 1996, motivated by American troops in Saudi Arabia, support for Israel, and oppressive Arab regimes. These factors, along with poor economic conditions and lack of democratic reforms, pushed them towards violence. Huskies also adds that the attacks were meticulously planned, hijacking 4 planes to strike major American symbols. This was meant to send a powerful message to the US and the world. Understanding this helps us see that 9/11 was not just sudden or a random act of terror, but an accumulation of years in tension and conflict. Recognizing this can help us address the root cause of extremism and work towards a more secure future.